Hi, this is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State, and I welcome you to my weekly current catalog project video and blog. Today I am going to be featuring the Delicate Petals bundle, and this bundle is in the current annual catalog, I believe. No, it's in the current mini catalog, but it is going to be going away. As of May 1st, it will no longer be available, and it's currently available while supplies last. So if you're interested in this, I would encourage you to order it sooner rather than later. And I have a link to my online store in the description below. So this is the stamp part, and then there's a whole bunch of dies, and you will get to see what I am going to do with that today. I've also been into making fun fold cards, and so I'm going to be doing that with this project. As you can see, it's a modified Z fold card. So let's get started. First of all, I used Bumblebee for the colored cardstock, and of that I cut a 5.5 by 8.5 piece, and I scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. And so we're going to fold those and burnish those edges. And then this one's going to fold back this way and burnish that. So this is what your base is going to look like. Okay, the next layer is going to be basic white, and it is cut at 5 1/4 by 4, and it's going to go right in here, and it's okay to go ahead and attach it right now. And I'm just using regular adhesive to attach that. That's going to go right inside, just like that. So there's that piece. Now the next piece is the Z fold part of the card, and it's from basic white again, and it is cut 7.5 by 4 1/4, and it is scored at 2 1/2 and 5, so that when it's folded in a Z shape, one goes back, the next one's going to come this way. And that's going to create the Z fold, the insert. Z, I guess, which way does it go? A Z fold insert, okay? And all three of these are the same size, all three of those panels. Now, the next one is the colored cardstock, which is Bumblebee again. And this one is cut at 2 3/4 by 4 1/2. And this Z fold that you see here, this panel right here, is going to attach to that. And we can go ahead and do that. And it is just centered on there, leaving an 1/8 inch border all the way around. Get that on there the way I want it. There we go. So now that looks like that. Okay. Now I want to put a design on this part of my panel. On my original card, I put the design here, and then I realized there really wasn't anywhere to write a sentiment because this won't lay flat when it's opened. It's not designed that way. So I have decided that I want this stamping to be on this panel, and I'm going to leave this panel blank so that it has a place for a personal greeting to be written. And so I'm going to stamp the flowers from the Delicate Petals stamp set with Bumblebee ink onto this panel. And I just had one come down like this from the corners down You just want to situate it so it stays within the boundaries there, like that. And then I'm going to ink it again, and I'm going to have one come this way. And again, just making sure that it stays within the boundaries. And I just love them just stamped very simply, just like that. So that's that. Now that that is stamped, I am going to attach this whole Z fold to this card base. And that is just putting some regular adhesive onto the back of this colored cardstock. And it's going to get centered onto here. Now, it's not necessarily critical that it be exactly centered, but one thing I do want to make sure of is that it's square. And by that I mean square so it's not jogged one way or the other this way, because that might affect the whole fold when you're using it. So I'm going to use my T-square here, my little mini T-square, and I'm just tucking it up against the edge of the cardstock, and that way I can place this and know that it's going on straight and side to side, centered from top to bottom, and there we go. And that T-square comes in very handy for getting things straight. That's because when this goes, this is going to go like that eventually. Okay, next piece is, let's see, we're going to put this piece on the front panel. And for that, we have a piece of white, and it is cut 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And this is a piece of Sand and Sea Designer Series paper, and it is 1 5/8 by 5. So again, it'll leave an 1/8 inch border all the way around. And again, we are just going to attach it with regular adhesive to this white piece, leaving that border around. And then this piece is going, this entire piece is then going to go on to that front panel, this panel right here. And again, 1/8 inch border all the way around. Just, let's see, I might see if I can save it. Yeah, it was just a little bit high for me. That's better. Okay, and so there's the front panel. Now, this panel is going to get a bumblebee layer, and this layer is 2 1/4 by 4. 2 1/4 by 4. And it just gets laid flat onto that panel. Just like this. And again, there's that 1/8 inch border all the way around. So it ends up looking like that. And then this white piece is going to go on there, but before I put it on there, I'm going to stamp my sentiment, also from this set, wishing you a lovely birthday to you, excuse me. And I am going to kind of keep it up to the right top corner. And I'm stamping it with Bumblebee. And give it just a second to dry. And then I'm going to attach this to the card front with regular adhesive. And another layer goes on with an 1/8 inch border. Just like that. So there you've got that Z-fold section that's going to come out. Okay? Now you can take and fold this closed, and then this is going to go on here, and we're going to put adhesive on just this half so that we can stick it down. So we're going to fold that out, and I'm just going to put a few rows of adhesive there, and then I'm just going to close it and press it in place, and there's our Z-fold, basic Z-fold right there. Now for the decorations, I used the dies that are in the set for the larger flower and the smaller flower. And I did 2 of each of the larger ones, 4 of those, and 2 of the smaller ones. And then I used a sponge dauber. I'm just going to do 1. I've done the others already. And I added some shading to those flowers. Shading is a fun thing to do, and it adds so much to your cut images. It makes them look so much real. When we get the paper pumpkin kits or any of the card making kits and they have punch outs in them, lots of times I will take a dauber and some inks and sponge the edges and stuff, because it just gives so much more depth to the design and to the punch out. It makes it look more real, less flat. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just taking tone on tone. So this is Seaside Spray cardstock, and this is Seaside Spray ink. Unfortunately, this Seaside Spray ink is also going away. It's one of the in colors that's retiring. I'm going to miss it. It's been a beautiful blue color, and I've enjoyed it very much. But we'll be excited to see the new ones when they come out. And so we'll just get this inked up. Like I said, I did the others so you wouldn't have to watch me do all of them. And I'm hoping that you can see the shading on those. Then I took my bone folder and I just very, very lightly gave them all just a little curl so that they're not laying totally flat either. Just like that. Get them all done here. It doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, you can make it as bold as you want to and curve it just as much as you'd like, but I just didn't feel it needed a lot. Just enough to make it look like it's bent a little bit and not just flat. Makes it look a little bit more real, as I say, when there's some curve to it. So there's those. Then I used glue dots and put them together with glue dots. And I just took a glue dot and stuck it in the center of each of the large flowers. That hole in the center is not going to matter. It's going to get covered up eventually. And so we don't have to worry about that. I didn't get that one very flat, but that's okay. There we go. Then I attached them one to the other, and when I did, I offset the petals. There we go. And then I'll put this one on. So that one's ready to go. They're sticking to the back because that hole in the center. That's okay, because it's going to get taken care of here in just a minute. And then this one, I also offset the little one as well, so the petals are all offset. Then I'm going to turn them over and put another mini glue dot just in the center and the back of each of the flowers. I could have made yellow flowers. I didn't want this to be totally monochromatic. I wanted some other color. And Seaside Spray is one of the colors in this designer paper, so that's why I did it that way. And then I'm just placing those on there like that. Then the clear and frosted epoxy droplets, they are also going to be going away with the new catalog, and so I'm going to kind of use some of them up. They have 2 different sizes. I'm using the clear ones, and I'm using the smallest of the 2, and I'm putting one in the center of each of those little flowers just to give them a little bit of bling. You could add some more around if you wanted to, but I didn't think it needed that. And so then there is the completed project, and this time it opens up and you have a beautiful piece here, but it leaves this part open so you can write a personal sentiment, and it's a lovely birthday card. So I'm glad you stopped by today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I encourage you to visit my blog and to shop in my online store. Thanks again for stopping by.